Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am fucking freezing and can't shovel the damn driveway. So,
Yeah, I'm Eli. Yeah, if you're honestly not, this isn't even an Ohio thing. This is just most of the U.S. at this point. We're just fucking buried in snow. Um, I was going to run an errand first thing this morning. Um, I saw that my shovel was about that deep in snow in the street,
it
and I said, "Never mind."
retired. It retired. It's like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, I just said, "No, no, fuck it, we're no."
That's all right.
Um,
My day's already off. I've been up since like 5:30. I haven't even had a cigar yet, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that because it's fucking like 6 degrees outside and 12 inches of snow.
Yeah, literally. My son was actually asking about when are we going to get to the driveway, which, hey, I like the initiative, but I'm like, it is still actively snowing. So I kind of feel like going out and shoveling almost defeats the purpose. I mean, I'll go do it probably in about the next hour or so, but although if you're in the southern states, I feel bad. I hope you're doing all right. It was a bad sign when Ted Cruz already fucking fled the state. Uh,
Well, Ted
um,
Cruz, Ted Cruz flees anything that might slightly inconvenience him.
I genuinely don't like. If you're listening and you're in Texas, no offense. Honestly, if you're listening and you're in Texas, you probably didn't vote for him. But if you did, why? Like, he just bounces at the first sign of bad weather. He doesn't fucking care. He doesn't like y'all. Like, I don't know why they keep voting for him, other than being stupid.
That's fair.
uh,
But no, it's
but
yeah, I've already shoveled 3 times and it's already covered again because the wife had to go to work this morning. And it's like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not doing it again. It's not happening. You know what? You could teach your son capitalism. You can tell him, it's like, hey, go out and shovel the drive. I'll pay you $20. And then go have him do it like 4 times, but still only give him the $20. You said, I pay you if you shovel the drive. I didn't say I pay you every time you shovel the drive.
I mean, that would be the experience of most of U.S. employees. You do extra work, but you don't get extra money.
Yeah, yeah. So, a lot of things going on. We're not going to talk about the same bullshit that's been happening that goes with, stuff in Minnesota and all over the country. Because quite honestly, I am fucking tired about hearing about it. And I am that close to probably jumping in and trying to put an end to it all at once, even though when I roll my die, I never hit the nat 20. So it's going to be more like a nat 1. But I'm going probably at some point in time make the attempt, and it'll probably end poorly, just because I am not in a Marvel movie or whatnot. Speaking of movies, you said you haven't. I have. The new He-Man trailer has dropped.
Yeah, I didn't even know that the trailer had dropped at first because you know how they'll release stills before they even release any footage? Like, we got a shit ton of stuff for like Street Fighter before the trailer ever actually dropped. Which, by the way, Cody Rhodes is Guile. Jesus Christ, no. But anyway, getting back on track with Masters of the Universe. So we got to see Jared Leto as a Skeletor, and to be fair, I'm not saying that Jared Leto is, a phenomenal actor. I'm not making that claim. The only claim that I'm making here is that in costume, as Skeletor, it does look good.
That's CGI.
But, well, and to be fair, I was going to say that what I am saying looks good has literally nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Like,
The even if it's a costume and not CGI, like motion capture or anything, and if it is, all that all that goes to the costume and wardrobe department and
and that's what I
special
was going to
effects.
say.
Yeah, none of that is fucking Leto. You know what'd be really fucked up if he
Mm.
were to take off the skull and underneath is his juggalo.
But it's not going to happen because this is a serious movie. But it would be
He
fucking
man, for
hilarious.
fuck's sake.
It would be fucking hilarious if we got the until we meet again.
Well, I love how the fact you say it's a serious movie and it's He Man.
Ish.
It's there was nothing serious about He Man other than the fact that there is questionable, material such, and it's up for debate as to the sexuality of Prince Adam, and Evelyn and Tila and Man at Arms, and there is a hint of sexual deviance that is applied to the He-Man universe.
Although, speaking of that, now that you mention it, geez, that virtual background is fucking crazy.
Yeah. See, for everybody at home, real brick over here. Where is it at? Let me point to it right there. Real brick, fake brick. Real brick, fake brick.
But in my defense, I am not in my office because why the fuck would I do that to myself today? um, but
Maybe you have a vendetta against yourself.
look, I might hate myself some days, but I will express that in different ways. Probably something a little bit more constructive. But where was I? I was going to say something with that, and I got through. Oh yeah, yeah. You mentioned Men at Arms or Man at
Yeah.
Arms. So is Idris Elba actually playing that character?
I'm guessing.
Because
Unless it's another actor that looks like Idris Elba.
well, so again, I didn't watch the trailer, but I saw a thread on Facebook and they were talking about it. And this one dude was talking about like, I don't care about certain race swaps. And I'm like, in general, I don't care about any of them. Like, so the only time that I actually care is when you're doing it for the sake of the shock factor or whatever. And the perfect example of that, some of y'all will remember this, a few years ago, WB, I'm sorry, no, it was Warner Brothers. This was after Cavill was out and before James Gunn was in. So they were talking about we're going to do a new Superman. He's going to be Clark Kent and he's going to be black. And I'm like, but Val Zod exists. Like, if and first of all, Michael B. Jordan was supposed to do a Val Zod project. James Gunn axed that. Fuck you, James Gunn. Um, but I'm like, look, if um, I don't know, I'm just gonna pick Yahya. I'm just gonna pick Yahya Abdul Mateen right now, just because he's like a really high profile actor.
And
If they were
Eli's
auditioning,
go-to actor is
but like if y'all were auditioning for a new Superman movie, Yahya Abdul Mateen walks in and just fucking nails the role. And they're like, okay, you know what? Nobody did as good of a job as you, so we're going to give you the part and we're going to tweak the background a little bit so that a black Clark Kent makes sense. I'm okay with that. But when you say from jump, we are making a Clark Kent and he is going to be black, motherfucker, for what? Like, if you are planning on a black Superman, do Icon, do Val Zod, Marvel, do Blue Marvel. Please give us Blue Marvel because that would be fucking awesome. And Idris Elba would be great for it. Like, Idris Elba is at the right age. He would be a great fucking Blue Marvel.
well, Idris Elba would be
Um,
great at anything, including James Bond.
it's funny. Me and my wife were just talking about that because Netflix has added, I think, the entire Bond collection,
Oh,
25 movies.
and only
Um,
3 of them are good.
Literally the only one that I've ever watched was Goldeneye. And I was actually too young to watch it. My attention span wasn't there and I was bored. So I was gonna try to revisit those. I might just watch the Daniel Craig ones. Like I've heard really good things about Skyfall, but I don't think I can jump straight into Skyfall. I think I'd have to at least watch one or two of the previous ones, if not the whole series. But
Well,
anyway, I'm way off track
the
here.
beauty about a Bond movie is you don't have to watch the first one, then the second one, the third one, fourth one, and understand what's going on. The beauty about a Bond film is, yes, it is a series, but it is a standalone movie. There are some things that do tie back to other movies or other characters, and that's the only time you would actually need to have a bit of knowledge of the Bond world. But even then, if you're just watching it for the first time, it's a movie, and that's the beauty of Bond. I'm
True.
not. A, I'm not.
Well,
I'm honestly not a big Bond fan. I mean, it's like okay, you get these people who sit at home, like for movies for guys who like movies, and they sit down there and they watch the friggin' and it's nothing but fucking, the racist ass motherfucker, John Wayne shit, and followed up by a fucking Bond marathon, and it's like, you know what, I am not into that character. Now, if you threw a fucking Lord of the Rings marathon on, technically I can do that any fucking time because I have all the movies. But the thing is that's something that I would actually gravitate towards and sit down and watch. Now, with this race swapping, and normally I don't have an issue with it. I don't care unless you are taking a character that is clearly Asian and putting in a white woman for that.
oh, like Scarlett
This,
Johansson.
yeah, and this with Men at Arms, with Idris Elba, I don't have an issue with it, except for one thing. Man at Arms is Tila's dad by canon. By canon. Now, they could do away and basically say, yes, he is a father figure to her. He is technically not her, because the girl they got playing Tila is definitely not of the same skin pigment as Idris Elba. They could easily sit there and say, yes, he's a father figure. He took her in. She was an orphan and stuff like that. And he raised her as his own, stuff like that. Okay, fine. You rewrote the backstory and now it works.
Isn't that kind of what they did in Fantastic Four? Like the Miles Teller one?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
what the fuck was that actor's name? I forget what he was Martin Querns in Oz, the older dude. But like Michael B. Jordan clearly is not a blood relative of, you know, Kate Mara, which honestly I didn't even watch the movie, but I like her as Sue Storm. I like her as an actress, Kate Mara. Um, but yeah, that was a weird choice. And actually, you know what? That's a good example of I I don't know what the thought process was in the casting room, but Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor, and I would be willing to bet that he auditioned, he just fucking nailed it, and they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and tweak it so that they're still brother and sister. I'm willing to bet that that's what happened. And to what we were talking about, that's a good example.
Yeah.
Now, when I say times where I don't give a shit, the example that I always bring up, Jamie Foxx as Electro. Jamie Foxx is a fantastic actor, and you can hand him anything and he'll make it work. But what if you watch Amazing Spider-Man 2, which most people don't enjoy the movie? I think that it got more hate than it deserves. But tell me, what about Max, aka Electro? Nothing about his portrayal or his characterization has a fucking thing to do with his race. None of it. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Um,
and you can bounce off of that because in the first movie by Tim Burton, the Batman movie with Michael Keaton, you had Billy D. Williams as District Attorney Harvey Dent, and then when you flip it, when you finally bring him back to screen, you now have Tommy Lee Jones.
even though those are like kind of barely connected, like it's supposed to be, they're technically a sequel, but not really. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Well,
Although
well,
they have the same
yeah,
act,
but
Alfred.
yeah, my thing is the reason that the the way everything has gone movie wise is like, okay, this is a different Batman, this is a different Bruce Wayne, this is different Batman, this is different Bruce Wayne, this is a different universe with these different characters, except the Alfred is pretty much the same throughout. And they did that to clean up any of the continuity issues that they had going forward, because now they have the expanded universe and all that stuff with Flashpoint and everything else. So it's one of those things that it's like, okay, yeah, these movies kind of suck, so let's create a way to fix our mistake, you know, and here you go.
Yeah. And the other example that I was giving, because we were talking about Men at Arms or Man at Arms, um, so again, Jamie Foxx's Electro, I don't care, didn't do anything. Halle Bailey, I have to be very careful about that because I always want to call her Halle Berry. Their names are way too similar. Halle Bailey as Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I'm like, I still haven't watched the movie. I'm probably not going to be completely honest. But I'm like, if you haven't watched the trailer, then I'm going to tell you to watch the trailer. If you have watched the trailer and you've heard her sing, then I'm no longer entertaining the conversation because god
Yeah.
damn
Well,
that she sang her fucking ass
oh
off.
yeah, she did. She was phenomenal. But the thing for me is, you have a mermaid of color. To me, makes perfect fucking sense considering the region of the world they're in that this is taking place. Now, if you had, for instance, let's take Frozen, and you stuck, Halle Bailey in the role of Elsa, I wouldn't believe it so much, just because she's an Icelandic princess in Norway. Historically speaking, and geographically speaking, it doesn't fit the character. You know,
You know, so you know it's
just kind of
funny.
like in Pocahontas, you have a white guy who is actually John Smith, and even on screen, he's done as John Smith. Now, that is the whitest fucking name you'll ever come across, John Smith, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't actually white.
Although actually, funny thing about that, just to pivot a little bit, because I never do that. Uh, but I actually got into a back and forth with somebody one time on TikTok about this because we were talking about the whole thing with characters, and I'm like, I'm gonna take like Blade. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not as familiar with like his comic book origins. I'm pretty sure he was actually originally a white dude, and that they made him into a black guy. And honestly, I don't care. Like the black version, like it's fucking iconic. It's amazing. But I'm like, so I'm gonna take Black Panther, and I'm like, we're gonna read a part of his biography, and I'm gonna stop as soon as you get something culturally relevant that requires him to be black, right? And I'm like, I want you to do the same thing with, Ariel, for example. And I'm like, oh, an African king. Oh, okay, I guess we're done here.
Yeah.
Like I did that on Wikipedia. Then I'm like, all right, you know what? Wikipedia, anybody can edit that. Let's try again. Let's go to Marvel. And it's like an ancient African tribe. Oh, well, I guess we're done here. And this guy came in. He tried to cite something from the original book, Hans, whatever the fuck the author's name was.
Hans, yeah, some
Who
German name.
cares?
Hans
And
Gruber.
he's I honestly almost said that. Um, and he read something. He cited something about, oh, she stretched her translucent hands. Da da da. Da. I'm like, I said culture, you stupid motherfucker.
Uh, she stretched a translucent hand. Let's analyze that first fucking word. Translucent. Okay, I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, to me, she's like bioluminescent, but whatever.
But yeah, I'm like, did you understand what culture is? Because that's what I asked for.
Yeah. Now, if it starts like she stretched out her cold, chilly hand out of the depths of the Arctic Ocean, it kind of gives you a geographical placement, but the Arctic Ocean is fucking huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like fucking penguins in Greenland.
um, but also one thing I was going to mention, just y'all know me, I just squirrel. Because since we're talking about with recasts and stuff like that, you mentioned like Lord of the Rings earlier. This was a fan cast, but it was hilarious to me. Because they're actually talking about new Lord of the Rings movies. They're actually doing the Hunt for Gollum right now. Ian McKellen is coming back as Gandalf, which I'm totally cool with that. There is a fan cast. There's a fan cast for Henry Cavill as Aragorn, and I'm like, no, no. And I'm saying this for one reason and one reason only. Henry Cavill does not look like a man who has spent a significant amount of his life outdoors.
No. So
Viggo
if
Mortensen does.
yeah, so if you're gonna cast Henry Cavill at all, you basically do what The Hobbit did with Manu Bennett and make him an orc.
Or, actually, where I could see Henry Cavill, although I almost hate to say this because we know what happens to the character, Henry Cavill actually could make a really good Boromir.
Possibly. And I love Henry Cavill. I absolutely do. He's a phenomenal actor. He's very talented, and he's a nerd like us. My thing is like when I see Boromir, I only can picture Sean Bean. I really like. So because Boromir was that, yes, he was a status, but he was also a trained, he was a trained fighter. He was trained with the sword. He surprisingly was a brilliant tactician, except he was corrupted by the ring, which made him seem pretty friggin' stupid. So my thing is Henry Cavill, yeah, he could potentially take on the role of Boromir, but I don't think it's the right fit from my standing.
The reason I would not want to see him as Boromir is because we know how the character's story ends. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to see Henry Cavill loaded up full of arrows. Um, Although Sean Bean was great, but Sean Bean is actually exceedingly good at dying.
Well, so there was a show that came out slightly after Lord of the Rings and had Sean Bean as one of the stars, and I can't remember the name of the show, but there was actually a hashtag going around that said, "Don't kill Sean Bean."
Legends.
Yes, yes, Legends.
Legend, and I watched the first season. Legends was fucking good. I never actually got a chance to watch season two, and then it got canceled. I think it was canceled before season two was over. And I was very disappointed at that. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, he was an undercover Fed, and he was actually losing his own identity. Like, he couldn't tell where his real identity ended and his characters began. It was a really great concept. But no, I remember that.
Yeah.
Although here's another thought though. If we're doing other stories like The Hunt for Gollum, what if we got a movie about the retaking of Osgiliath and Henry Cavill played that Boromir?
Mm, I'm still not seeing it. I'm still not seeing it. And again, it has nothing to do with. I just don't picture Henry Cavill, like dressed up in like Gondorian, armor and whatnot. I don't see
Ah,
it. I just I can't. I don't see it. I For me, because Sean Bean at the time was like around 50, 55, maybe,
something like
when
that.
Lord of the Rings or whatnot, and he had that gruffness. He had that age and that experience that fit the character well. And I'm not saying Henry Cavill wouldn't have that. I'm just saying I think for the most part, Henry Cavill's too young for the part.
I also thought about Faramir, but he's too big.
Yeah.
And I would have to actually go back and see how Faramir was written. But the thing is that David Wenham was so fucking good in the role that I feel like he changes your perspective of the character. So even if Faramir is actually not a smaller guy, David Wenham was so good in the role that I feel like you're always going to see a smaller
Yeah.
guy,
Well, didn't David
especially because
Wenham? Yeah, didn't he originally audition for Legolas?
I don't know about that. Um, if he did, I would say that they made the right call for both characters,
Yes.
for Faramir and Legolas. Um, I'll have to look that up. I always find it funny when they don't get the character they auditioned for, like Tom Hiddleston, how he auditioned for Thor. And let's be honest, that was absolutely the right call.
Oh, without a doubt. And from my understanding is I believe he was the top runner for Thor.
Really, I didn't.
Yeah. And then Chris Hemsworth decided he wanted to audition, so they kind of brought him in on favor and got the part like right off the bat. And
The thing is, and what will forever seal it for me, is that fucking toothy grin as Loki.
oh yeah.
Like that is mischief. Like I cannot see him as Thor. I realize that his natural color is more, it's either blonde, dirty blonde, something like that. It's a lighter color. So he wouldn't have to actually do too much to his physical appearance other than put on some muscle. So he's completely dyeing his hair for Loki. But other than the hair dye, like that fucking shit eating grin he does
Oh
is
yeah.
so good for Loki. Like I can't see him doing anything else. Um,
But
but
yeah, so the He-Man trailer, I've seen it. I'm not really looking forward to it.
also, one thing about that, did you see this thing on the internet? I saw people showing it on Facebook. They were mad that they gave He Man pronouns. They were mad that He Man has pronouns. Every day I have less faith in humanity.
Well, guess what? There is an He-Man equal that is feminine, and her name is She-Ra.
Yes. Ah, ooh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, now I'm thinking who would make a good Shira. Um, and I don't know. I think I brought this on too quickly because I probably could think of somebody, but I'm struggling at the moment. Um, for, probably because she is Millie Alcock jumped to the top of my mind, probably because of her doing the Supergirl movie, and because she's
Mm-hmm.
doing Supergirl, she's not going to do Shira, but she could maybe pull it off. At least the civilian type. She doesn't have enough
Perhaps.
muscle for Shira. You might have heard Duke meowing.
Yeah, I heard him. You probably heard Loki, scratching, doing everything else. So, um, you know what? Just okay. I have two that can possibly do Shira. Okay,
Okay.
first one is Florence Pugh.
I'm not mad at that.
Second would be Chloe Grace Mortez.
Did she play Hit Girl?
Yes.
I'm not mad at that. The only hesitation that I would have, and I will be 100% honest, I'm nitpicking here. The only hesitation I would have with both of those actresses, um, one has played Yelena, the other has played Hit Girl. I know that they can do the physical part of the role. Shira is supposed to be a lot more muscular, and I don't think that either of them quite have the musculature, what the fuck ever, for it. However, neither did Gal Gadot. So it's not a deal breaker. So, but I could see either of them doing the role. I think they could probably kill it.
Well, my thing is, I'm basing off the He-Man trailer that I saw. Now, the actor that they got to play Adam slash He-Man, whatever, um, he fits the role look wise. He's definitely not going to look like the fucking action figure because that was just a bunch of roided out shit happening there. But there's a part in the trailer where he's walking and it shows his abs. And I do not know if the abs are a body piece that was put on or if it was digitally enhanced or if those are his real fucking abs. Holy shit. Because it looked like the plastic chest piece that Ricardo Montalban worn as Khan. Even though people
um,
say that was his real chest, I beg to
I
differ.
I did hear about that. I mean, I'll have to look at it to see, but what I will say about it, I mean, it's not impossible, and I say that because I mean, like, look what Chris Pratt did for Star Lord. Like, Chris Pratt was first introduced to Hollywood, as fucking,
Andy Dwyer.
yeah, and he was a little chubby. He had a little extra chin like I got here, and then when you get the shirtless shot of him in Guardians of the Galaxy, he was fucking hitting the gym hard. So it's possible. It's entirely possible. Um, did it happen? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, remains to be seen.
And the thing is if it is really this actor's physique, good on him. Because that was fucking impressive. It
Yeah.
really was. So yeah, hats off to him. But at the same time, it's like I'm not at all hyped to see He-Man. I mean, I mean, Jared Leto, Skeletor, whether it's a costume, whether it's CGI, I don't fucking care. Jared Leto's music, I can just hit the button and hit skip. If he's in a movie I want to see, I have to sit through it and fucking watch him.
Hang on one sec. My cat is chasing something, and I don't know what it is. Hang on one second.
Maybe a mouse got in.
It's little. It's almost it could. It's too big for a ladybug, but I
Stink
don't
bug?
think I can spot. I don't know, but hang on.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Should do a play by play, but
Ow.
while he's doing that, I'm going to check my messages.
Stink bug. I don't know how the fuck there is a stink bug alive at the end of January right now.
That's okay. Couple flies flying around the house. It's like, how the fuck?
Look, that's the one good thing about living in the Midwest this time of year in the winter is 90% of the time, apparently this was an exception, all the bugs go back to hell where they belong.
Yeah. Well, the only positive that can come out of the negative temperatures this week as our highs and the, 2 feet of snow being dumped on us is it might actually kill off the mosquito population.
Yeah, that's one of those things like allegedly everything has a purpose. Now, whether you believe that as far as like any kind of divine creation or just evolution, like I don't like snakes, but I do know that like in snakes like at a farm, snakes actually eat the rodents that would eat the crops. So I understand that. Spiders, as much as I hate spiders, they eat insects, sometimes harmful insects. So I get that allegedly everything has a purpose, but what the fuck purpose do mosquitoes serve?
They are related to my ex-wife and lawyers.
Um, like literally, the only function I can think of for mosquitoes is that um, I guess if mosquitoes didn't exist, Crichton would not have been able to write Jurassic Park. I guess.
Well, technically, let's talk about what's wrong with that for a second. Wasn't that like an elephant mosquito? And they used the male version of an elephant mosquito, which doesn't suck blood.
I'm assuming you're getting that out of the book, which I didn't read because they didn't really get that specific in the movie.
Oh, look at it's right there in the movie. Look at the screen. You can tell it's an elephant mosquito. Males don't suck blood.
Well, I mean, yeah, and plus, I feel like, I mean, the science is very flawed anyway. Like, I get it, it's
I mean,
preserved
the
in
guy cloned
amber, like,
himself. The guy cloned himself and made himself fucking grandchildren or niece and nephew. So, yes,
I
spoiler,
did,
people. If you didn't fucking know that,
I did hear about that, but I thought it was more of a fan theory than anything else.
oh, it's fucking true. Believe me.
I mean, look, I'm totally on board with the fact that John Hammond is the real villain of the entire fucking franchise. I am totally on board with that because, I mean, kind of the way that what was his name, Hargreaves. Hargreaves was really the bad guy the entire fucking time in Umbrella Academy. I'm
Yep.
okay with that idea.
Yeah. Well, it's like I'm actually DMing a D&D campaign that they're interacting with the bad guy the whole fucking time, don't even know it, and they don't watch the podcast, so they'll never fucking know.
This would be really fucking awkward if this was the one that they happen to find.
Yeah, and I'll be like, no, dude, don't know what you're talking about because I have a way out of it.
um, but yeah, and I know like as much I'm having fun with my current character, but I low key can't wait for the next one because I'm literally basing my character off of a character from Arcane, and in the show Arcane, so it's literally called Hextech. I don't know how, but he has these little gems that is pure arcane magical energy, and he infuses it into everyday items. Like he has these things called the Atlas gauntlets. The gauntlets themselves weigh like 1,100 pounds, but the Hextech thing makes it light enough to wear and wield, and it's good for like mining. Like he took a boulder and just crushed it with the Atlas gloves. And one of the characters, Vi, fights with these. Like she just fucking knuckles up and throws hands with these 1,100-pound gauntlets, and nobody dies somehow. but but yeah, so that character Jace is basically who I'm basing my next character on. I've even built a little Hero Forge character. I've got a backstory written and everything. Even though I'm probably not going to get to use him for about a year, give or take. But
I've got a character that I've been sitting waiting to use for about the last 6 years that I haven't even pulled out for a campaign yet. So
and actually, it's funny. So one of the discords that I'm in, so I was talking to, so there's one person, Kayla. A bunch of us were talking D&D. Kayla doesn't play, and she's like, "How could I get into this?" So I gave her Hero Forge in case she wants to make a visual representation of her character. Because I will be honest, using generative AI to create a character, it can give you some cool imagery, but it is a little bit unethical. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like it is cool, but it's not necessary. Now, if I could draw, I would just do that.
my thing is
But
my thing is AI is a tool. You know, it's not there to reproduce the art or or take over from the artist. It's there to assist the artist in creating art. Case in point, I'm very musically inclined. I can write stuff all day in my head. The problem is I don't have access to instruments or know how to fucking play them. So I
yeah,
will upload those to an AI generator or sit there and hit the notes on a little fucking keyboard and tell AI is like, hey, I need this as a violin or I need this as a cello, or I will just type in like, I need, quarter notes and eighth notes in the key of A and, F sharp or whatnot, this timing and, set up the stanzas and, the bars and then have it produce it for me because I don't have those instruments. I don't have access to choirs. I don't have access to, an entire orchestra. So it's a tool. I'm still creating
yeah,
it, but I don't have the instruments to play it.
yeah. And again, I mean, like I've done it, at work. I use it for like I'll write up an email, but then I'll run it through our chat GPT just to kind of clean it up because you know, when you're doing something via chat, via email, it's all text and connotation can get lost. So I've had times where I do come off a little bit dismissive. I come off like an asshole. Not that I'm not an asshole, but
Fair.
um but I'm trying not to be so much of an asshole at work because then I get in trouble. So I'll use Chat GPT to soften it but like I still wrote it. I'm just using
Yeah.
this assistant to be a little bit more business friendly. That's all
Yeah.
I'm doing.
And the thing is
Um,
like, when going through college, they told you do not use Wikipedia as a source. Do not cite from Wikipedia, which I get that. But Wikipedia, when you went down to the bottom and saw the different links, it gave you some great places to go pull sources from. And the thing is that you can go to those individual websites and places and documents and whatnot and read through it to find the information you need in the actual place it was cited from. The thing with AI, it's actually making it a lot easier because be like, look, I'm researching this. I need to know where I'm getting. I need articles that support and then refute. This. I need at least 5 or 6 articles. Of this nature. You can put into AI, and boom, it shoots it right out for you, and then you can sit there and click on that and actually go and do what you need to do. It's
Just
like if you're looking up something, it's like yes, we have it on the phone with the apps like, oh, how many liters are in a gallon? Yeah, well, the little app converts it for you too, but AI does basically the same thing.
although, yeah, when you're doing that, just make sure that you are fact checking whatever the AI gives you, because I'm sure you heard about this story some years ago. A lawyer, a lawyer asked a Chat GPT for some kind of precedent on his case. It gave him a fictional case. It not even something out of a movie. It just completely fucking made something up, and he presented it in court for his argument. And when he got caught, they threw the whole fucking case out.
Jeez.
'Cause
Well, I mean,
of course
somebody
they
who
did.
somebody who has studied it like me with like the psychology, I always fact check sources. I always see where that source comes from. I always get like if I'm reading an article that was based on, you know, say an article by Jed Lecca, who was a forerunner of like determining factors on mate selection within same sex parents or something, or opposite sex parent. You know, it's going to pull that up, and everything that is in that article should actually be cited as well. So therefore I'm going to go look for that article and find that exact article, who it may have been by David Buss or something like that. And then I have my actual information, and I can find these actual articles from actual library sites where these are actually articles that are available to the public. I'm not just going to be like, oh, okay, this one from such and such, and throw that in there. No, I just do due diligence. That's just me.
Yeah, and I remember, and it's something that we were taught like when I was in high school, because when I had to do a report, my honors English teacher senior year, she said you can use the internet, but you can only have two internet sources, and you have to have three book sources. Which you have a whole library at the school, so that's not hard to come across. But nowadays, this was 20 years ago, so nowadays you can do all of it online, but you still have to cite your sources.
Yeah.
Um, and I love arguing with people who don't fucking check things. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of this because, the news cycle has sucked for the last week. And if I'm being real, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better.
Hmm.
But I was talking to somebody, and I said, it is true. And I don't think he was smart enough to actually understand what I said to him because he didn't reply. Um, I said, it is truly impressive how you hold on to your opinions in spite of contradicting factual information.
Oh, I love it.
And I genuinely don't think he understood what I said to him.
No, I just went.
Probably. I, the one that I've been waiting for a while, and I'm not going to get to use this on you because you're probably too intelligent for it to fucking work. But I've been waiting for somebody that I can say like, "Yep, that just went right over your head and took your hair with it." I don't think I'm ever going to get a chance to use that one on you, but
No.
I've been sitting on that one. I knew a guy like when I was a kid, I was a teenager, and he told me that joke. I wasn't shaving my head back then, so he just said it just in general. I have been sitting on that joke for like 20 fucking years, and I have not gotten to use it.
Well, I do know some people you can use it on.
I'll be looking for an opportunity to do that.
All right.
Um,
Well, that's about all
but
the time we have for this week. So, yeah, if you got anything you want to know about, got any comments, whatnot, just let us know. You can email us at menbehindcurtain@gmail.com, or just leave it right there in the comments below, particularly for Catastrophe. One of these must go. Or if you want to nominate a cunt of the week.
yeah, which we kind of stayed away from that on purpose because who the fuck else would it be right now? But yeah, other than that, this week is going to suck. Stay warm, stay safe. Thanks for listening and or watching. And feel free to look at our other socials. Check out Valmont. Other than that, y'all have a good one.
All right, be you.